好啦，咁我哋繼續咧喺呢一個同 Jade Music Festival 同 OneNightTalk 合作裏邊咧，請嚟唔同嘅 performance 啦、artist 啦、musician 啦傾偈啦。咁呢一部分咧，我哋請嚟有 Mirabelle。Hello Mirabelle, welcome to our show.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, first of all, I know you're not in Vancouver right now. Can you share with us like where are you now and like how do you want our audience to know you?
Yeah, I am in Calgary, Alberta, just the next province over.
Yep.
My name is Mirabelle. I am a classically trained musician and singer-songwriter, self-producing artist. I'd say my music is calm, introspective, and there is a sort of cinematic ambient style to it. I sort of combine my classical training background with this singer-songwriter pop side, and in my live performances I use a looper, so looping artist.
Oh, there's special categories saying that is a looping artist, or it's just you mentioned it?
I don't know if it's really a category. It's just that I tend to use a looper most of the time when I am performing live.
Yeah. Okay. It's funny that because in other artists we just interviewed, he was mentioning about something about loopers. Like creating with loopers doesn't mean that you're using someone else's materials. What's your point of view about this? Like, how do you define that? Is that your materials or what?
Yeah, looping is so like I have a loop pedal, and the one that I have is the RC600. So it gives me 6 tracks to work with. And basically I can record myself, whatever I play, I'll start, stop, and then it'll just keep looping. It'll record. And then I can record on top of that as many times as I want on a single track. So then I have multiple layers of myself, of my vocals or guitar or flute or anything. So then I can create harmonies with myself. I can create percussion, like drum hits with my guitar. I can make harmonies, background vocals. And so I have like a whole band with me, except it's just me. And but also sometimes it takes a minute to set it all up, because you have to sing the part and then you have to stop and wait for it to repeat. And then if you mess up, then you sort of have to delete it and then start over again. But yeah, that way I can have a lot of layers without actually hiring a band or having bandmates.
咁 Mirabelle 就啱啱講佢係一個特色，就係佢用一個 looper 嘅機器啦，或者幫助咧就係佢自己做晒所有嘅嘢啦。佢即係一個無論係樂器啊，或者係佢自己嘅和音啊，佢都係用呢個去幫手。咁我頭先就問佢，呢個唔通係變咗一個種類 artist 嘅種類，但係其實都係一種創作嘅方式嚟嘅啫。
係啊，其實我自己嘅話都好中意有 artist 係做咁樣。其實 Ed Sheeran 嘅 live 好多時候都會咁樣做嘅。
But it's like is it helping you, or like you prefer to us to team up with someone else to create? Which one is better?
I think it's because I didn't really have anybody to create with. So I started out, solo, and it's hard making friends is hard. So it's just easier to play with myself, and I'm also such an introvert, so I really enjoy it.
I see.
I'm not opposed though to creating with and collaborating with other people. That's also really fun. It's just how I started. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm actually more interested, like, because from myself, I'm also like, I think I started with classical music trained when I was young. So I really wonder, like, because for me, I just like stay classical all the way. And now I don't even play. But like, I was just wondering how you actually transform, or how did that actually get you started when you first started as a classical music learner, and then transforming everything into pop? And can you share a little bit more with us?
Yeah. So my mom is a musician. She plays the Chinese zither, the guzheng. And she was in Taiwan. She was playing with the National Radio Orchestra. And so after my parents immigrated to Canada, now she teaches at the conservatory here. So I've always been around music, especially Chinese traditional music. And so my mom taught me and my brother guzheng when we were really little, and also piano to get us started with that and theory. So I had just always been like crawling around under the instrument, around the instruments as my mom was practicing, and then I started learning. I would also always I love composing, and before I actually knew how to write music, my mom wrote it for me. So I found like one day I was cleaning and there's just like really old sheet music. It said by Mirabelle, but it wasn't my handwriting, it was my mom. So just a super short little composition by maybe like 5-year-old Mirabelle.
Oh.
Yeah. And then so I took piano and guzheng a little bit and just like kept going with that. And then around middle school, junior high, I really wanted to be Avril Lavigne. So
Wow.
Avril Lavigne inspired me to pick up the guitar. And then my brother, he was playing flute in band, and then he quit. So then he's my older brother. So hand-me-downs, you know, like the younger sibling just gets hand-me-downs. So we already had a flute, so I picked it up and I learned flute. And then that just carried on into high school. I joined band, and then I decided that I guess I'm decent at music and it's fun, and I'm not super great at math and sciences. So I would apply for music school. So then I went to school for music, for flute performance, and now I have a bachelor's and a master's of music.
Oh,
Yeah.
But I always
And then-
think, like in a traditional background, Chinese background, I always think that if someone is good in math, then someone is good in music theory, right? Isn't that connected?
Yeah, so I'm not good at music theory.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. I'm like decent at it, but theory is definitely like, you're right. Like there's some correlation there, in a way. But yeah, throughout all of that, like even though I was in school for music and that was all classical, I was always songwriting on the side as well. I was playing guitar, I was composing, but in school it was very much flute performance, theory, history, you know, that stuff.
For myself, I actually have a very similar, like I can sync with Mirabelle because I also have a violin that passed down from my elder brother. And that is also why, and also
good start.
same as her, I'm not good at math and science. That's why I do art, and that's why I do my music in my bachelor too.
I enjoy math and sciences, but they didn't like me, so.
Okay. So with such an interesting background from your parents, will that affect your creative? Like, were you keen to grab more elements from them to put on your music?
I started collaborating with my mom a little bit more in like these past few years. Actually, I just had a show back in June here in Calgary, and my mom came and performed with me. So we played one of her compositions, and then I played flute on that. And yeah, and I think maybe because I've heard so much traditional Chinese music that when I improvise on flute or guitar, I tend to fall into pentatonic scale patterns. Yeah, and so pentatonic is like the 5 tones are just do, re, mi, so, la. And so you only have 5 notes, whereas generally you would have 7.
Yep.
Yeah.
So like the guzheng is tuned to these 5 notes. These 5 notes repeat. So I think maybe that's the sort of influence that I have on my music.
But do you want to separately create something kind of different from what you just said?
I think I already do. Like most of my songs aren't that connected to the Chinese traditional music elements anyway. Yeah, but I'm hoping that, I think actually because of Jade, it has definitely motivated me to sort of reconnect with the Asian culture side of things and music especially, because we, you know, to promote the Chinese language, you know, we are singing, everybody has to sing a few songs in the Chinese language, and that's really helped because, you know, it's just a lot more interesting. I feel like everybody's challenging themselves to either write in a Chinese language or learn songs in the Chinese language, or just like include certain elements, and I think it's been really helpful just like being a part of Jade to sort of dive into that a bit more.
I'm also wondering, like, when you mentioned like how you were trying to like do like how like Jade Music Festival making you guys trying to compose more. Just now you mentioned that you're an introvert. Well, I was just wondering if there is any of the musician or artists that actually stand out and you were just like, oh, I really want to try to do some collaborate with those people, or like if there is like some of the people that you find that their style is quite interesting and you would like to give it a try, or try to talk to them and see how you guys can have some spark and work out together.
Yeah, you mean like artists from Jade?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, for sure. There's actually last year Kim Yang, she wrote a song with Kappa Arkie called Home, and they were in the studio because Kim is an Australian artist, so we were all from out of town. Kappa is based in Vancouver, and they all went over to Dennis's studio, and they recorded the song. They wrote and recorded the song, and then they asked other Jade music artists if we wanted to hop on the track and provide vocals as well. So it became like a really cool project. I wasn't in Vancouver anymore at the time, but I could still, I just send it through. I record it here and then I'll send it over. And it was really cool because then a bunch of Jade music artists came together and we were a part of this song. It created a really homey feeling. Like we all became closer friends. I think there are so many talented musicians who are a part of Jade, and I want to work with all of them. Everybody's styles are so unique, some similar elements, but yeah, everybody's so unique and so good.
I see. So on your music journey, are you kind of like achieving something in the short term?
Yeah. Well, like I mentioned, I put together a show back in June.
Yep.
And in 2 weeks, October 24th, I am playing with the Kensington Symphonia here. They are a string ensemble. So on my show back in June, that was the first time that I played my original songs with a string quartet. I had my pieces arranged, or my songs arranged. And that sort of added the classical element back into my music, which was really exciting. And so October 24th, I'm doing the same thing with like a new song. A few new songs will be featured. And hopefully this string quartet idea can also turn into orchestra. I would love to perform with an orchestra. Just like me singing and playing with orchestra in that way.
That's really amazing. I think like that will be some of the new audience that going to be attending your performance. Like, so would you have any like recommendations, or like what would you be presenting like to them if there is someone that like who first time knowing Mirabelle, and what can they be expecting from you?
You can expect really slow, probably sad music. Definitely not hype and upbeat. Like that's not. Is quite opposite. So very peaceful. You can expect harmonies, lots of layers of harmonies, and flute. I'll be improvising on flute a lot. Yeah.
That's good. I think that's a good introduction. At least like they know how to love your music. That's pretty good. So like besides your journey or what we talked about, like any crazy ideas that jumping even further that you want you to try in the maybe further future?
I guess the orchestra thing for sure.
Okay.
I would love to go on tour to play more cities, to meet more people, because I live stream on Twitch, and so a lot of my audience is international. Like I have viewers who are from Germany, from the UK, from San Francisco, New York, Sweden. so on and so forth. And I've met some of them, which is really exciting. But it's hard to meet everybody because everybody's so far away, opposite sides of the world. So I'd love to go on tour so that I can meet people. I think, yeah, that's just like, I would love to score films as well.
That's good. Okay.
Yeah.
Because like, nowadays with internet, like everyone can publish themselves. But on the other side, like, will that take away you too much time from doing music? Like you have to do publication, you have to do promotion online, like
and then not to
stream.
mention that she is already doing a lot. Like she is singer, she's writes songs, and she also composes. Right?
Yeah,
so like,
exactly.
I also wonder how can she manage to do all this type of thing. She mentioned she streamed, right? She actually streamed twice a week.
Wow.
So how could you manage to do all these things at the same
I think
time?
Compared to your mom's generation, they have any agent, or they have like some connection so they can focus on music. But now in your generation, how do you see that?
Yeah, I think we definitely have to wear a bunch of different hats and do all these things ourselves, which is good and bad. As you said, like I can sit here and upload a song immediately and then everybody can hear it, which is super convenient.
Yep.
We don't have to get signed to a label and then go through that whole process. You don't have to have a manager. So it's really easily accessible, but yes, it does get a little bit overwhelming sometimes because trying to keep on top of everything. And it's especially hard because sometimes I don't feel like I'm even doing enough. And yet, as you just mentioned, like I'm doing a lot of stuff, but I guess there is no ceiling. It just kind of feels like I have to keep going. I just have to, and I love it, which is great, but it is quite easy to burn out if you're not clear on your goals. But I guess time management and having a good support system.
True.
Yeah, that's all very helpful.
I see. So I'm glad that organizer like Jade Festival can come up and try to connect you guys each other and also build a community, as you said, so you can get more exposure.
It's very nice. Yeah.
Yeah, great. So do you want to introduce one of your good pieces that you can introduce to our audience? Any signature pieces that, you have to know me through this song?
I have a song called Wildfire, which has become quite a staple in my repertoire. This flame behind me, this is a logo that represents my Twitch community. Because so on Twitch, you can have these badges. So basically a little icon that shows up next to your username if you subscribe. So that kind of represents, it represents the community. And that became a thing because I sang Wildfire a lot. It was one of my first few songs I put out. And wildfire is my metaphor for cancer. So I know a lot of people have been affected by that. And if not directly, then indirectly, you probably know somebody. And True. I guess with my songs, with my music, it's all very deep and sometimes talks about life and death, wildfire. So it gets deep. Wildfire is basically a song about seeing a family friend go through that struggle, and then they were okay for some time, and then suddenly just it spread like super fast. It spread very quickly, and unfortunately they didn't have very much time left, and they've passed. But also with wildfires, it gives way to new life. So it's sort of semi-hopeful. There's the silver lining in there. But yeah, that's one of the first songs that I wrote, and it has very deep meaning to it. And I think that's why, it's become such a staple in my catalog.
That's a very good story behind it. Yeah. Okay. We love to.
Yeah, it's really touching too.
Yes, we love our audience to know more about you through this song.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. 有冇其他補充啊？我覺得好好啊。
係，我好中意最後尾佢講呢個 story。
係啊 ，yeah, so meaningful. We're just saying that we love the story so much behind that Wildfire badges and the song. Okay, so we're looking forward to see you in Vancouver.
Thank you.
And we might see if we can have a more chance to know more about your other stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.